Fellsmere Fishing Headquarters. Getting confused now because I got my main man in town, Bobby Lane, and Captain Rick Murphy, best of the best. Obviously, Captain Mike and Captain Steve. Hey, we wanted to give a quick fishing report because these boys were out there today and they put a beating on them. And Bobby's got a little weird species he caught today he wanted to talk about. What was that thing, Bobby?
Dude, that was crazy. Of course, we threw some shiners this morning. Unbelievable. I think you gave us 6 dozen this morning. And it was mayhem for 2 hours. It was every single cast. And I caught the weirdest bass of my life. It was a 7 or 8 pound bass. I know we got it on film, so I'll have to get the picture when we end up getting it. But it was gray, just like your shirt, gray. And it had big white eyes. It was a healthy fish. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. But normally you think headwaters and those grass fish, you get those beautiful gold, green, dark.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, actually Greg caught one with us today, same one, and we're holding them together, and it doesn't even look like the same species. It was wild. I've never seen a bass like it.
Never heard of anything like that.
No, I can't wait to get the film from that fish and see what it looks like.
Man.
But yeah, man, I had Rick Murphy with me today. First time me and him got to fish together. And dude, that was exciting this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. It looked like this bass looked like a bass in a mullet suit. You know what I mean? That same black mullet look to him. But you know, Bobby, when we were getting these shiners this morning, guys, it was so cool because I've always said you want to catch a big fish, you gotta use a big bait, which eliminates the small fish from biting. That wasn't the case today. It didn't matter whether it was fish this big, they're trying to eat a shiner this big. But to have shiners this big, and the big joke of the day, guys, was one of those little minnow nets. He was trying to use it for dipping these shiners in a little minnow net like this, and we got shiners like this. I mean, we just had the best time. What a epic place you guys have right here in your backyard.
Awesome.
I'm so jealous, and the one thing I understand now that it's only 3 hours from my house, so you may see more of them.
Good. We love that.
Yeah, and let's face it, it wasn't just about the shiners today. We went and did some artificialing up north, just throwing some max in around. We threw some slobber knockers, some topwaters. We caught 20 or 30 in between these rainstorms. So we saw a couple of fish on the bed.
Yes, we did.
Right before we came in, we saw a 3-pounder and about 1.5 pounds sitting on the bed.
Wow.
So things are popping on the headwaters, and I don't think we went maybe 5 minutes without somebody catching a fish today.
For sure. And what was the water temperature? Why do you think there wasn't more fish on the bed, Bobby?
Well, the water temp was probably started out at like 66, 67 this morning. When we got that later in the afternoon, we looked at it, it was 69 degrees. Florida fish, headwaters fish, Kissimmee, Okeechobee, they really don't like to get locked on the bed till it hits like 72, 73 degrees. So they'll get up and roam around the beds. That's why it's good to just cast some stuff around. You can catch some of those males that are guarding the bed, kind of waiting for the female to get there. And when that 72, 73 starts to get, and it gets stable for a week or so, the fishing is going to be lights out, because no matter what you throw over there, if the female gets it before the male, you're going to have your hands full, because we caught 25 pounds 5 times today.
Jeez.
Like a ton of 3.5, 4.5, 5, 6, 7, 8 pounders. Like,
Nice.
Headwaters is healthy as I've ever seen it since day one. And you guys, like Rick said, man, this place is truly special.
It really is. And I think what I understood you say about the temperature is nothing happens to mama until it gets hot, right?
Yeah. Well, you always get the dumb ones, but for the majority, I gotta say that, right? But
Guys,
for the
y'all
majority,
saw that I teed it up for him and he dropped the ball on that.
I had to save myself a little there, but when you get stable, we've been down. We got a cold front coming this weekend, about 4 days, 40 to 60, so the water temps are going to plummet again. And then once you get into that 72, 73, and it's stable for longer than a week, I don't even care what the moon's doing. Everybody says you got to be here on a full moon. You come to Headwaters any chance you get, because if that water temp's stable, you're definitely going to hammer some big ones. You won't see them on the bed. You'll just be able to fish, and those big ones will be coming out of where we're catching them now on shiners. I think they're pre-spawn fish eating up on those shiners, and let's face it, I think shiners work 100% of the time here. It always seems to have fish catch on shiners, but the artificial is fixing to get really good once that water temp stables out.
Right. Looking forward to that for sure. What do you think, Captain Steve?
I can only say what they just said pretty well, because it's the same deal. It's the same deal that, I mean, we've been doing the same stuff now for over a month, 2
Right.
months now. The shiner bite's been phenomenal. Catching them deep in the reeds, you know, a lot of these fish in places from the square pond south, a lot of that grass is gone, a lot of the hydrilla is gone. So we're looking to get these baits into the reeds. That's where the fish are living right now. And, you know, I tell clients a lot of times, look, you're gonna get hung up a lot. If you ain't getting hung up, you're not catching.
Right.
So, you know, they'll be 2 foot into the reeds and get blown up on.
Yeah.
Or they'll be 2 foot under a mat and they get blown up on. You gotta let them get into something, especially if you're fishing south of that square pond. The artificial bite, for me, has been steady with the flipping. I'm a big flipper, you know, and I love doing that. But I'm flipping some reeds, like you and I flipped some reeds, Pat, you know, a couple weeks ago and caught them pretty good in the dugout area.
Right.
But the main mats that I'm looking for are these slop mats. You got hyacinths mixed with old reeds and just slop mixed together.
Right.
Those fish are under them. If I got 3 foot of water or more, I'm flipping that mat. And a little piece, I'll give you a little piece here. So you get big areas of big mats. Flip those mats because you're going to catch some fish. My bigger fish are coming off mats the size of this table. Isolated mats by themselves, look for those. There's going to be one fish in that mat, and it's probably going to be a damn good one. So that's where my bigger fish will be coming from, is an isolated mat. So look for those.
1.5 or 2 ounce?
Both.
Oh,
Both. If I can get the 1.5 through there, I'm going to use the 1.5. They seem to like that rate of fall a little bit better right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's water temperature thing or whatnot, but the 1.5, if I can get it through there, and the wind's not blowing too hard, and I can control that weight and thumb it through real nice, I'll use that 1.5. Most of the time, I do like using the 2 because, you know, I'm going to get more pitches in through the mat. You know.
I know if you fish up north right now, you'd better have a 2 ounce because the hydrilla's thicker than we've ever had it this long, right? It was really thick in the summer, then we had those hurricanes come through. You almost have to have a 2 ounce to get through those hydrilla, the hydrilla mats.
Right.
The hydrilla down south, no grass, 1.5 probably makes more sense. But I know if you're gonna fish up north and flip, you better have a 2 ounce on.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah. Nice to have one of each.
Sure.
Just in case.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. What do you got to say, Mikey?
You know, hey, it's pretty much the same deal, like these guys are saying, tight to cover.
Very much.
And, you know, everybody thinks a shiner has to be swimming to get eaten.
That's
Not
a good
here.
point. I'm
Not
glad you
here.
brought this up. That's a very, very good point.
I've had a couple days here where we've been literally catching more fish on dead shiners than live ones.
Yeah.
You gotta pop
So
that bladder
how
out.
do you fish that?
Just hook it up through the back,
Right.
okay, and flip him out there tight to the reed and just let him float down. You gotta pop that bladder though, so he doesn't float. And just
Swim
let
bladder.
him sink down there and just give it a couple seconds. Maybe
Okay.
lift and drop.
So
couple
don't
times,
throw the
lift and
shiners
drop.
back.
Don't-
Put
don't-
them back in the live
No,
well.
No,
Yeah.
Put some G
they're
juice
gonna be your
on them
best
and let them
friend.
rejuvenate, right?
Yeah.
And you still use
Resuscitate
them the
them a
second
little
time.
Hey,
Yeah.
we got to a point we were killing live ones.
Yeah.
They didn't want to chase the bait. Because, you know, they're cold.
Not this
You know,
morning.
they're on these cold fronts.
Hey, we're
So-
chasing this morning. It was unbelievable.
He fished, Mike fished a spot the other day because we were talking about it. He fished a spot the other day, watched the guy fishing an area. He knows there's fish there, so when the guy left, he pulled up there. Didn't really get bit on the live shiner, so he pitches a dead one out there and gets one bite.
Wow.
Throws another dead one, another bite. So they started throwing dead ones and catching fish one after the
They
other.
just
on
haven't seen the
ones.
dead ones. They're so used to the live ones.
You know, it's just really weird like that. So
And you're right, we never caught one out in the open today. Everything had to be, like you said, why do you hook it in the back? So it swims towards the cover, right? If you hook it in the nose, it's gonna swim towards the boat or wherever.
Right.
And we never got bit out in the open.
You know what
Everything
we
was
did
tight.
have happen several times, is you hook a fish right next to the cover,
Mhm.
and he'd run to the deep water right
Mhm.
towards the boat.
Yeah.
Really?
Coming at us,
Sure.
and then we'd finally come tight and it'd be straight down.
Yep.
So
I think there's that many in some areas, they're actually fighting each other and then they grab it and swim.
getting the bait away from the other.
But if
Absolutely.
you had to hook it in the back to get it to swim to the cover, that definitely made a big difference. Not in the nose or in the belly, in the back. was a
what
key.
size hook do you guys like using for those big shiners?
5 to 6.
5 to 6
5,
hours.
6 on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, we are going again tomorrow, and it's gonna be hard to sleep because it's always corks going down all day today, and we've doubled down on their order tomorrow for shiners.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. We want a special thanks to Bobby Lane and Mr. Murphy
Thank you, guys.
for taking the time out
Wow,
and
thank
share their experience today with you guys. And we're gonna keep the videos coming. In the meantime, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all you guys. God bless everybody. Thank you.
God bless.